It's a pleasure to have you, Subha. We're so glad you're back.
I'm
Subha, I
really
was
sorry.
just telling, no problem. Subha, I was just telling everyone about the Being Sattvic movement, and these are very exciting times. I think each one of us is really going into introspection and realizing what is really the truth out there. So, my first question to you today is about intermittent fasting, the new buzzword. Everybody is talking about it, and you've spoken so much about it. So, what is the right way to fast, and how can it help our immunity during lockdown?
Sure, that's a very interesting question. So, fasting is something that has been there since the beginning of time. Fasting is Mother Nature's most supreme medicine. But to understand fasting, we first must understand something else, another concept that's very important, which is that we all have a healing power sitting inside us, which actually comes to work when we fast, whether it's 16-hour fasting, which you said, intermittent fasting, or any other kind of fasting. So imagine when we break a bone, what what do? We go to the doctor and the doctor inserts a plaster on the bone, right? What does the plaster do? The plaster keeps the bone set in one place. It's not like there's some medicine in the plaster. So after a few months, this big broken bone automatically rejoins itself back together. So what is that power that joins this big broken bone back? It's a healing power. Another word for healing power in our Vedas is Pran Shakti. So this Pran Shakti is basically the healing power that resides in any and every living being. The healing power is not sitting in a pill or a vaccine or a drug. The world's best doctor is sitting right inside each one of our bodies. When we get a cut on our skin, even if we don't apply a band-aid on the cut, after a few days we'll see that the cut automatically joins itself back together. What is that power that joins this cut back? Again, it's that same healing power. It's our Pran Shakti. So to understand fasting, to understand how does 16-hour fasting or intermittent fasting work, we must understand how does this healing power work, because they're both very directly linked to each other. So every morning when you wake up, you get a limited amount of this healing power. You get a limited amount of this Pran Shakti. And every action you perform, whether it's talking, walking, speaking, listening, thinking, takes up little bit of this Pran Shakti. So can you guess how much Pran Shakti, how much healing energy does the task of digestion take up from our body? Any ideas?
No idea.
So digestion actually takes up 80% of our Pran Shakti at once, which is a lot, isn't it? So when this Pran Shakti fully goes into digestion, it obviously cannot do anything else properly. It can't do other tasks efficiently. To understand this better, we can take the example of, let's say, an iPhone. If you open too many apps at once, what will happen? The battery will die out quickly. None of the apps will work properly. Same way in our body, if we're doing too much at once, if we're trying to heal and digest together at the same time, none of the things will be able to happen efficiently, will be able to happen properly. So what does fasting do? Fasting is basically stopping our Pran Shakti, stopping this healing power from going into digestion and diverting all of this Pran Shakti towards healing, towards cleansing the body. Now, our problem today in this modern day and age is that we're always and always eating. We eat two slices of toast for breakfast. Before that gets digested, we put in a bowl of rice for lunch. Before that gets digested, we put in two more chapatis for dinner. So actually, our body, our healing power, our Pran Shakti is always and always 7 days a week, 24 hours in a day, only engaged in digestion. So when it's only and only digesting, it's no surprise that it won't get a chance to heal. So what do we have to do? From time to time, we have to stop digestion. When we stop digestion, all of this Pran Shakti gets diverted into healing. And this is when, in the healing state, it goes inside the body, it rebuilds old tissue, it fades away all the old scars, it replaces old, damaged, dead cells in our skin. If we have any impurities in our body, it cleanses those impurities during the healing state, during the fasting state. Any stones in the kidney, in the gallbladder, it takes out. It removes extra fat from our cells. It breaks cysts, fibroids. It regularizes hormones. It cleans our intestines. So basically, in the fasting state, this healing power, this Pran Shakti, goes inside the depths of all our organs, pulls out the toxins lying there and pushes them out of our body through our elimination channels. Another way to understand a very interesting analogy that I recently read in one of the books was, let's say you're trying to repair a street. If there's a road and you're trying to do repair work on the road, in order to repair the road, first what do you have to do? You have to stop the traffic. You have to stop the cars from coming in, right? You cannot repair the road while the cars are coming and coming and coming. It's exactly the same inside our body. If we want this healing power to go into healing mode, into cleansing mode, into purification, we have to stop the food from coming and coming and coming. As soon as we stop the food, this Pran Shakti does its job, the cleansing, the purification of the body. So now coming to the different kinds of fasting, you are asking about intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting today, we may feel that it's something very new and trendy, it's something coming from the West, but actually it's something very old, it's something ancient that our ancestors have given to us. So if you look at Jainism, for example, they tell us not to eat anything after sunset and not to eat anything before sunrise. So actually in our Vedas, this 16-hour fasting is automatically made a rule. They didn't need to talk about it. It was like second nature. So the one type of fasting I feel lots of you listening to this may feel scared that, fasting means so much austerity. We won't be able to do it. But the easiest type of fasting that you can employ in your lives is 16-hour fasting. All you have to do is you have to stop eating at a particular time and give a 16-hour break to your digestion, to your stomach every night. So what we suggest is basically, let's say you stop eating, you eat your last meal of your day at 7 p.m. So don't eat any solid food till 11 a.m. the next morning. So it's basically a 16-hour gap between your last meal and your first meal the next morning. If you're eating your dinner at 6 p.m., have your first meal at 10 a.m. the next morning. So throughout the night, instead of your body being engaged in digestion, it's actually now doing the healing work. It's doing the repair work inside. So during these 16 hours, you can have water, you can have coconut water, you can have green juices. A very detoxifying juice that we usually recommend is something called ashgard juice. In Hindi, it's called Safed Petha. This Safed Petha juice is a highly detoxifying juice. It comes into the body, it tells your Pran Shakti, hey, Pran Shakti, I want to help you in your cleaning. I want to help you do the repair work. And it aids the Pran Shakti in doing this cleansing. So you can have things that further assist the Pran Shakti in cleansing. But we don't recommend tea or coffee or fruit juice or milk or smoothies or fruits, none of this, because this would tax the Pran Shakti. It wouldn't help the Pran Shakti. So this is a very simple rule to employ in your lives to take the benefit of fasting every day. Through daily 16-hour fasting, through daily um, intermittent fasting, your body gets a chance to do a little bit of healing every day. If any impurities get accumulated inside, we're all today, we have, in some way or the other, we're intaking pesticides, chemicals, pollution. This 16-hour fasting would ensure that if any toxins are getting built up, accumulated inside, they're immediately thrown out from the body. So yes, this is a brilliant way to do fasting. It's like the easiest way. And something that I'd really like to share with you is I find it so fascinating how all the major scriptures in the world, all the major uh, religious teachings in the world advocate so many different things, but they all share this one thing in common. All the spiritual leaders, whether it's Jesus Christ or whether it's Buddha, whether it's our Hindu sages, they've all told us the importance of fasting. Today, what we're thinking is something new has actually been in our Vedas and our scriptures since many, many years. Not only our religious texts and our ancient knowledge, even animals, if you look at, even animals fast from time to time. When my dog at home, if he ever falls sick, if he ever gets a fever, you know what's the first thing he'll start doing? He'll go in the house, sit in a corner, and he'll stop eating all food till he gets fine again. He won't even look at his favorite dish. He won't even take water in that time. Why? Because they're very instinctive. Animals are very, very intelligent. They know that if at that time, at the time of sickness, if they eat, what will happen? All that healing power, all that Pran Shakti will rush into digestion, leaving no Pran Shakti for repair work, leaving no Pran Shakti for healing. So all animals fast when they're sick. So there's many, many benefits of fasting, of 16-hour fasting. The first benefit I'd like to share is fasting is a way to provide rest to the body. Whether it's the digestive system or it's the circulatory system, the respiratory system, the nervous system, they all undergo a rest when we fast. Think about it. We're always and always eating. Through the last 20, 30, 40 years, our organs have actually been working all the time. Can you imagine your stomach? All the time since the last so many years, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it's only digesting. As a general rule, the more food you eat, the more work must be performed by your organs. When there is a reduction in the amount of food taken, the organs undergo rest. And when we stop all food, they rest most of all. So when no food is eaten at all, the glands in your mouth, your stomach, your intestines, your liver, your pancreas, your heart, every organ is going through a deep rest. And rest is very important. Another benefit of fasting is it's a powerful detoxifier. It is a powerful way to eliminate waste from the body. And as we've learned through so many traditional sciences, our Vedas, that the root cause of all diseases is nothing but accumulation of toxins in the body. And fasting does nothing but removes these toxins from the body. So as soon as we start fasting, this Pran Shakti begins an internal house cleansing. And as the fasting is progressed, deep rooted toxins lying in your body, in different organs, are leave their place and are pushed out of your body through fasting. So, in a vital sense, the body is almost made over when we fast. Another big benefit that may inspire many of you, when we fast, the body returns to its optimal, most original weight. So, for those who are overweight, the body goes through a lot of weight loss. The safest way to lose weight is through fasting. Fasting is a much better way to lose weight than by heavy exercising and putting too much load on your body. And if someone is underweight, fasting helps to increase the absorption capability of the body. So no matter where we are, fasting helps us in every spectrum of life. It makes the brain clearer. When you fast, you'll see your brain becomes wonderfully clear. Mind becomes cleansed through fasting. So it's very simple. When we clean this up, when we clean the stomach up, this automatically starts getting cleaned. You'll feel so much mental clarity during a fast. You'll feel amazingly calm. And this will enable you to function at levels you never thought possible. You'll see that during a fast, ideas will keep flowing in. The consciousness will grow. You know, a very interesting story or a recollection. The great mathematician Pythagoras, before his students entered his class, he required all of them to fast. He said that if you don't fast before coming to my class, you can't come to my class. Why? Because he knew that if they don't fast, they wouldn't be capable enough to understand what he was saying. In terms of the flexibility of the body, fasting increases the flexibility, better yoga, greater ease of movement. And one very important benefit in today's time and age, fasting is the most powerful way to boost the immune system. As we spoke, fasting is a way to cleanse the body, right? Anybody who has lots of toxins stored inside, if we have too much waste accumulated inside, our immunity will automatically be very less. So what fasting does by cleansing the body is it automatically raises our immunity. If you're fasting from time to time, if you're doing daily 16-hour fasts, you'll be much less likely to be attacked or be affected by any virus of the world. So these are just some benefits of fasting, the science behind fasting. And fasting is one thing, it's the easiest to do because all you have to do is you have to not do anything.
That was certainly inspiring, Subha. I know I'm inspired to further my fasting journey. So while I was doing research on your being Sattvic movement, on the Sattvic movement, I came across the philosophy of sunbathing and sun gazing. Can you speak about that?
Of course. So, a very interesting question again. Sunbathing and sun gazing are two ancient practices that were started again by our ancestors. What is To understand sunbathing and sun gazing, we first must understand the importance of sunlight to understand those. So, sunlight is actually food for our cells, and without sunlight, our organs cannot function properly. But in today's day and age, most of us, most of our bodies, most of our cells are starving for sunlight. If you see throughout history, sunlight has been a biological need for us humans. And because today we're not getting it, many things are starting to go wrong. Without sunlight, we're getting many bone problems, many joint problems, be it osteoporosis, cervical arthritis, joint pains, knee pains, back pains. Why are they becoming so common in today's day and age? We're seeing that even young people, even children, teenagers are getting cervical and back pains, knee pains. Why? Because we've closed ourselves in. We've closed ourselves in dark rooms. We were never meant to live like this. We are beings of the sun. We are beings of light. We were supposed to live in sunlight. Sunlight is the most original medicine that humans have been using for thousands of years. It's the biological need for us humans. And as I was mentioning, our forefathers, all our ancestors, used to worship the sun as a deity of health and happiness. In fact, in our Vedic scriptures, in our Indian texts, it said that the sun can heal anything. If you look at the Gayatri Mantra, what is Gayatri Mantra? It's nothing but a prayer to the sun god, who's also called Surya Narayan in our Vedas. The primary form of exercise was Surya Namaskar or sun salutations, so that we get the benefit of exercise as well as the sun at the same time. So, throughout history, sunlight has carried a lot of importance. And if we today learn to harness this sunlight, learn to harness the benefit of sunlight, we can live a much healthier life. We can live a much healthier life by connecting ourselves, by making a connection with sun god. So the first thing that all of you can do to harness the power of the sun, a daily practice, very easy, very simple, you can all employ in your lives is sunbathing, which basically means that you go outside for 30 minutes every day and you expose your whole body to the sun. So, see, bathing with water is one type of bathing. It's one type of cleansing. It only cleanses the external body, our skin, our hair. But sunbathing, what it does is it cleanses the internal body. And we can see this happening in our culture. We've seen that our grandmoms or our mothers, when anything in our kitchen, whether it's wheat or rice, when it catches worms or when it starts to smell bad, what do? They put it out and they lay that rice or wheat in the sun. And after few hours, after few days, it automatically gets purified. Why? Because sunlight is a natural disinfectant. It detoxifies our body by removing all the bad bacteria, the molds, the viruses, the funguses that we might not even know are sitting inside. So we should sunbathe throughout the year, but right now, during this pandemic, sunbathing is even more important. If we combine fasting with sunbathing, our immunity can really boost up and no virus can affect us. So how do we sunbathe? Very simple process. You go out and simply lie down in the sun. Today, it's not possible for us to go out. So if you can find a private spot in your house, let's say your balcony or the roof of your house, wherever where you're allowed to go during this time and where there's sufficient sunlight, simply go and lie down over there. The best time to sunbathe is morning or evening. One thing to remember is that we need the light of the sun, not the heat of the sun. So it's not recommended to sunbathe in the harsh afternoon sunlight. How long should we do it? Approximately 30 minutes to 40 minutes. The best way to do it is to first expose your full front body to the sun for 15 minutes and then your whole back body for 15 minutes. As soon as you start sweating while doing sunbathing, you know that it's time, that it's enough, and you should go back inside. The best way to sunbathe is to do it with absolutely no clothes so that the sunlight, the sun rays can directly get absorbed in your skin. But if you cannot find a private spot where you can remove your clothes, you can sunbathe with as little clothes as possible, preferably wearing very thin white cotton clothes. Why? Because cotton readily absorbs the light of the sun. No point sunbathing wearing very thick layers of clothing or synthetics or polyesters. So this is a brief outline of the correct process to sunbathe. One thing we must remember while sunbathing is we shouldn't ever feel that it's a mechanical or a transactional affair. We must remember who is this one who's giving us the sunlight at the end of the day. It's Surya Dev, it's Surya Narayan, it's Sun God. So every morning when we go to sunbathe, we must express our gratitude to him. We should say thank you to him for sending his healing energies to us every day. We should say thank you to him for just igniting the whole world, igniting all the plants, giving us food. Can you even imagine what will happen if he takes off, if he takes holiday for a day? So every morning, a small prayer before we go to sunbathing. Hey Surya Dev, धन्यवाद हम आपको करते हैं जो भी आपने हमें दिया है और जिस प्रकार आपने इस पूरी सृष्टि पे अपना अपना प्रकाश दिया है, वैसे ही हमारे हृदय में भी अपना आकाश प्रकाशित कीजिए और हमें अपनी कृपा दीजिए. So once we develop this connection with Sun God, it's a beautiful relationship. If for any reason sunbathing is not possible for you, please try to do it. It's just 15-20 minutes of your time every day. But if it's not possible for you, let more sunlight enter your house at least. Instead of staying in stuffy rooms where the windows are closed all the time, open up your windows to whatever extent possible. Open up your curtains. You'll see sunlight makes you feel happier. You'll be able to concentrate much more on your work, on your studies. The atmosphere in your home will instantly become more positive. There's a direct relationship between mental health, between happiness and sunlight. So these are the way to do sunbathing and the importance of why sunbathing is so important.
Thank you so much, Subha. That was beautiful how you tied in our scriptures with what you recommend. I'm sure we're all going to be inspired to do this. So moving on to our Q&A round, we have many people on Facebook chat who have some questions for you, but because we're short of time, we're going to be able to ask you very few. So the first question is coming from Narayani Jayakrishnan. How about Pran Shakti for cancer patients or severe infection? Does it work then with fasting?
Thank you, Narayani, for asking this question. Absolutely. Even in the case of cancer, even in the case of infections, ultimately it's the Pran Shakti that is healing us. We pop a medicine or we pop a tablet, we feel that it's the medicine that has healed us, it's the medicine that has cured us. It's never the medicine that cures us. Ultimately, the healing power, whatever health problem, whatever disease, it's sitting inside us. It's our healing power inside. It's the Pran Shakti inside. And if we can find other ways to support this Pran Shakti, then we don't need medicine. If we can find other ways to boost this Pran Shakti, for example, sunbathing is a beautiful way to boost the Pran Shakti. Fasting is a beautiful way to boost this Pran Shakti. Pranayam is a beautiful way to boost the Pran Shakti. Yoga, positive thinking, all of these ways, if we can boost the Pran Shakti through these ways, then cancer or any infection can easily be cured through natural means.
Thank you so much, Subha. Our next question is from Nisha Raghava. And Nisha wants to know what should be the maximum length of fasting? Is there an upper limit?
Interesting question, Nishaji. So, this anybody from outside cannot tell you how long you should fast. It completely depends on your own capabilities. It depends on how often you've been fasting in your life, how much of the lifestyle of raw food lifestyle, of a pure plant-based lifestyle you're following. So if someone is on the standard Indian diet and many toxins accumulate in the body, many health problems, it's not a good idea to immediately go on a lengthy fast. So initially, 16-hour fasting is a gradual way to incorporate fasting in our life. But if someone has been living a very clean lifestyle, very clean eating habits, they can easily go for a 3-day, 6-day, 7-day fast. So nobody from outside can tell you that, oh, 7 days is enough, or 20 days is enough, 40 days is enough. It completely depends on your Pran Shakti. As and when you start feeling that this is enough for me, um, the duty of the fast, or let's say the thing that the fast was supposed to do, the cleansing is completed. At that time, it's wise to stop the fast and gradually start intaking pure foods.
Thank you, Subha. It was such a pleasure to speak with you, and we have such little time, but I know that all our audience wants to hear a lot more from you. Thank you for being with us today. I do want to
Thank you.
remind all of you, I do want to remind all of you on Facebook Live that the goal of our event is to raise money for Goonj, a fundraiser that's working on the ground to fight India's biggest pandemic. So do open your heart and go down on that Facebook Live page and click donate. We're going to be back in 5 minutes with Dr. Partap Chauhan, so please hang on.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.